On our most recent training day here at our Portsmouth studio, I was asked a question by one of my delegates: what is the best lens I can buy for portrait photography? Now, it's a bit of a piece of string question. There isn't just one answer, but I was able to go into the back room of my studio and have a look at what lens I purchased when I first got into taking portraits. And in fact, I was able to go back and find this. It's a Pentax P50, the first camera I was ever purchased on my photographic journey. Back in the early 90s, my parents purchased me this to start taking pictures and to start learning photography at school. On the front of it is this, a 50mm lens. And unbeknownst to me, this was the first lens I used in earnest to try and take photographs, learn photography, and to start my photographic journey. The 50mm lens is a lens that's been romanticized by photographers over the years. People often refer to Henri Cartier-Bresson and his Parisian photographs taken on the 50mm lens and romanticize that as a project, when in reality, it was the only lens he could afford. It's, for a lot of photographers, the most affordable lens, and it's still the most affordable lens today. But that's not the only reason why it's a brilliant lens for portraiture. In fact, in an upcoming video here on this channel where we create a waterfall in studio and showcase to you how we freeze falling water and use it to create dynamic portraits, there's a small moment at the end of the video where I'm reaching for something photographically that all of the lenses here couldn't give me. And right at the back of my drawer, just behind the camera over there, is this. One of the most affordable 50mm lenses. And by using this lens in that shoot, we managed to create effects that all of these other lenses couldn't achieve. In fact, when I eventually upgraded from my Pentax P50 to this Canon EOS 300 film camera, it came with this silver lens on the front that zoomed 28 all the way through to 90mm. This was only the second lens that I'd ever owned, and I was amazed that I was now in zoom photography territory, that I could now zoom in and zoom out of subjects, create wide angle images and get super close up. But no one at the time taught me the value of the 50mm lens and why it's possibly the most economical and valuable learning tool that new portrait photographers can employ. Let me explain to you why. The 50mm lens is a fixed focal length lens. That means that you can't zoom in or zoom out of subjects. You have to compose everything within the frame without just quickly reaching for your zoom dial and zooming in to get more detail or zooming out to create a wider context. That means you have to do a lot of your framing with your feet. This is great for getting your step count up, but it's also great for getting you to think like a photographer, to think within the crop of your viewfinder and to look at every element within that frame. The very best photographs don't really have any dead space. And what I mean by that is it's not use of negative space or use of space to create great compositions. What I mean by that is that every element within the very best photographs are there for a reason. They help compose the entire piece. And by using the 50mm lens and by putting it on the front of the camera, it forces you to look within that frame and eliminate elements that don't help drive your story and focus more keenly on the elements that do. The 50mm lens is also a prime lens. What that means in short is two things. Firstly, the areas that are in focus are going to be super sharp. You're going to get a refinement in quality that you just won't see from zoom lenses. But it also gives it the ability to open up super wide. This 50mm lens here, let's just make sure I'm right. This Canon 50mm lens here opens up to 1.4, and there are 50mm lenses that will open up even wider. The wider the aperture, the shallower the depth of field. So if you really want to, especially in portrait photography, drive focus to the element that you want the viewer's attention to go to, It's going to really help not only with the sharpness of that, but also by obscuring the detail of every other distracting element around the frame. You can use it to create interesting bokeh with fairy lights and spotlights in the background, but also you can utilize it in really low light situations. By opening up the aperture, we let more light into the camera, which allows us to create a better quality of image first before reaching for the ISO dial and adding digital grain to our files. But the last brilliant thing about this 50mm lens is that it replicates what the eye sees. It's the closest lens we have that replicates human field of vision. And that's key in terms of getting the viewer to understand and to relate to an image from your perspective as a photographic artist. You can get people to come on a journey with you through your photographic intent of replicating the scene at the time as you saw it. The 50mm lens is brilliant for shooting outside. It's a smaller lens, it's not so heavy, it's easy to carry around with you, but it's also super useful in studio. And actually it allows me to shoot relatively close to my subject. And as you may have seen a number of times on this channel, as we progress a portrait shoot, we understand that lighting, composition and posing and camera technique are really only part of creating an impactful portrait. Most of what makes the very best portraits and the portraits I'm most proud of in this studio is connection. And by using the 50mm lens, I'm not at one end of the studio shouting instructions down to someone at the other end. It enables me to have a slightly closer relationship with the person in studio and bring them along for the emotional ride of creating a narrative-driven portrait. So nearly 40 years ago, 1991, when I got this Pentax camera, the 50mm lens was the first lens I ever used, and last week in studio, I reached for it again to help create something special and something unique in camera, and that will never change. There will always be a level of romanticism about this lens, and I recommend photographers try lenses of all different types, of all different focal lengths, of all different aperture abilities. But the starting point in terms of affordability and in terms of harnessing the craft of becoming a portrait photographer, I will always recommend the 50mm lens. And it's great to run seminars in the studio. It's one of the best ways to get hands-on learning, hands on the lights and hands on the camera, as we can guide you through the process one-to-one, and you can ask questions directly to me and get direct answers and direct results from one of our in-person seminars here in Portsmouth. Details on our website, link is below. Now, if you want to see me shooting with a 50mm lens in a real world situation, there's a video on the YouTube channel, link's going to come up above here, where I take it around an arena in the London Olympic Park at a live show. And we showcase how we would normally approach this show with a long lens, a zoom lens and a wide lens. But I restrict myself on the day to just shooting with a 50mm lens so that I have to put myself in positions to get in-camera cropping. It's a really insightful video. Check it out after you've seen this. But more importantly, we're managing to capture unique action ringside that's got this sort of film and vintage feel to it with this wide aperture. Lovely sort of triangular shapes, both faces in frame for this submission hold. This is one of Amira's fans there. I thought it was quite an interesting capture. So there it is, back in 1991 when I started my personal photographic journey, and I took my first picture on that journey with that lens. And last week in this studio, nearly 40. Be nearly 40. 26 plus 9. And last week in this studio, coming up to 40 years later, I reached for the 50mm lens again to create a unique dynamic portrait. So when photographers ask me what lens they should be investing in, I always advise them to go out and experiment and find the lens that suits them and their style. But I also advise them that a great starting point is the 50mm lens for affordability, for quality, and for making you think and learn like a photographer.